Okay, so this is the alignment of the mirror. So just prise off. This is what you don't want to happen. Luckily these mirrors are 30 bucks, so lucky. Okay, so I wasn't able to use the audio from the original clips because we were playing background music while this was going on. So I apologize about that. Here you can see me take off a clip that is holding the other safety clip that you guys can see. I'll put a little arrow on it. So this side of the mirror had already been taken off before. There was some type of body damage on the door that someone tried bondoing it, and I guess the mirror had been taken off. So whoever took off this, they messed up this clip here. So they didn't care. Here you can see me grab a flathead screwdriver and start prying out the retainer. So the way that you just do this is you kind of put it in position where I have it, and then you just turn the screwdriver clockwise and counterclockwise, and that will eventually release that little clip. Well, it's not even a clip, it's like a retainer. You gotta hit it from all sorts of angles here, and it will eventually come out. It took me a few tries here, but you can see it sliding out already. As soon as you feel it come out, you can just use your hand here, and that's what the clip looks like. At that point, you have just one more connector to remove. It's a 3-pin connector. It's the green, yellow, and red wire that you can see me pull right there. It's a little hard to get to because you just have so much room. But after you do, you just pull the wires out, and the mirror assembly will come out just how you see there, and you're left with that stand that's actually bolted to the door. And then right here I show you that it's a T15 that you gotta use in order to remove those two Torx bolts. And once you do, then you can release the remaining part of the mirror. For me, since I was wrapping the car, I just put a little bit of blue tape just to secure or not have any loose connections, and just tuck it inside that hole that you see in there. It would just make it a lot easier to wrap, when you don't have anything intruding in the way. Right there in that angle, you can clearly see where the people did the Bondo work, so that's why I had to fill it up with a little bit of glaze putty and add some primer to that. But at that point, it's pretty much ready for us to wrap the door. Okay, so if you made it this far in the video, congratulations, you guys now know what color I'm wrapping the car. Installation of the mirror is going to be pretty much the same as how you removed it, except in reverse order, obviously. Right here, it's a little tedious work, just passing the wires through that, let's just call it the mirror support, I guess. Just because you have that big connector right there, and then also the little two wires that don't have much slack in them, just to pass them through, but they eventually do pass by. The trick here is to put the big connector first and then just pass the two little smaller ones and try to keep them straight. Takes a little bit of time, but if you do end up doing this, it's not that hard. To be honest, the hardest part of doing this whole thing was taking off the glass off the mirror housing, because you have 4 clips and you only have so much room. You have to try to get a pry tool in there, but for me, I just pry it off with my hand. One of them came out easily, which was this side, the driver's side, but the passenger side was just impossible, and then the mirror ended up cracking, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt. So here I got my T15 again. I'm just gonna tighten up everything. Um, there's no real, you know, torque that you're supposed to apply to these. Just make sure that you don't over torque them, because that would be a really bad day. These bolts are pretty long, and they kind of are a little hard, not really, to align into the thread that they're supposed to go to. But once you find the thread, then you're golden. Putting back the mirror is pretty easy. Just make sure that you slide the wires in through that hole right there that I show you. It's a lot easier than putting it in through the mirror support, the gray thing that I installed prior to this. You guys can see that how easily they go in, all three of them. After you pass through the wires through the mirror, you just gotta make sure that you seat the mirror down, just as I do here. After you have the mirror in position, that's when you can install this clip back into its place. It just goes in one way. Just position it into place, kind of add a little bit of pressure just to make it stick. And then afterwards you can grab a hammer, or as I do here, a screwdriver, and then just start tapping it into place. It'll take a couple of taps, but eventually it'll go back into place, and then you're pretty much ready to install that other clip that I showed you, the retaining clip. Damn, looking back at this video, it makes me just think about so many things. Like, how the hell do I beat this thing up so proficiently? Once you're done beating the meat, once you're done beating your clip back into place, you should really make a like a test, just to make sure that everything is working properly. As I do here, I'm just locking it into place one way and then the other way. Right here you can see the 4 little tabs that I was talking about earlier, where the glass is gonna go into. Right there is my glass, and I'm right there. So yeah, here you can see me struggle a bit trying to put that clip back into place. It's really a pain because it's just so limited, and then the way that it was designed, it's just terrible. I can totally see why the guy who previously took this thing apart, he bent that clip and he's just left it like that. But yeah, with the magic of editing, I have it already into place there. At this point, I just had to make sure that all my connections were installed back into where they go to. So that 3-pin connection has to go up in there. You can see me connecting it back into place. Afterwards, then I just have those 2 wires, that they control the defroster setting on the mirrors. It's pretty easy to connect 2 wires that go on the mirror. Basically, it's the brown one goes on top, and then the brown one with the black stripe goes on the bottom. I mean, it's pretty easy to get them mixed up, but shouldn't really be that much of an issue. Just make sure that everything works. So you gotta go inside the car and then turn the little knob left and right to make sure that you connected the motor right. Otherwise, you're gonna have to do it again, and then you risk breaking the mirror, and then it's gonna be a pain in the butt. So once you do your connections, you have 4 little clips that I just pointed at right now, and you also have that little fin on the side of the mirror that goes into that hole. You want to make sure that everything's lined up. One way that I learned to make it easier for you to install the mirror without breaking it is to add just a little bit of WD-40 or some type of lubricant. I use WD-40 because I didn't really have anything on hand, but preferably you would probably want some silicone lubricant, just so that you don't damage any of the plastics or anything. But for me, I made sure to put it just enough, like little tiny droplets on the tabs, and then once I did that, it was really easy to push back the mirror. Right here you just see me struggling, so I managed to get the mirror on without breaking it off camera. If you guys like this video, go ahead and subscribe, comment, and like, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.